Hey, first off, apologize to your moms for not being able to be with them right now, and really, we really appreciate you make this special effort. Uh, Danny, make sure you make that call or to that special person. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I don't want to feel guilty about that. Anyway, we had a terrific weekend. This was really fun. So many good things showed from the kids coming in, and some of the free agent kids also. The attitude was great. Their buy-in to make this a really successful camp worked out just the way we would hope, and so we saw a lot of good things. I'm not coming out of this thing with a lot of negatives, which I don't anyway. But if throw out the names that you want to talk about, whatever. But I was really fired up, and I think the draft class just showed. The kind of stuff that we would like to see in this camp in general. Really serious intent about learning and understanding what we want, and then trying to take that to the practice field from the meetings. And so we gained a lot out of this, and it was a really good first step with the young class.
Just getting going. What have you seen from Monique McDowell, and what are your impressions of him?
First off, he's a different looking athlete than we've had, and so his stature is, he's just taller, longer than guys that we've been able to coach. He's really quick. He understands what we're talking about. We played him a lot at the 5 technique spot just so that we could just see him there. He looks really natural in his movement and his coordination. So we saw nothing but great stuff. It was a highly successful weekend, and really him showing us what we're getting. So it was really fun to see that.
Seems like those 4 DBs he drafted are all kind of forming a little bond already.
Yeah, yeah, they're kind of hanging together, and I think that's a good thing for them to do. These guys are leaders from their own programs, and you could tell that they're all real serious and aware that this is a chance for them to do just that, and to try to be a formidable kind of accent to our football team, and however that works out. All 4 guys were impressive. It was very good. It's kind of fun to see them in the group. You can kind of picture them coming around in the years to come. Very good.
David Moore, kind of like what you thought, maybe better than you thought. He's been real impressive.
He looked more comfortable doing the things. He was in an offense that was kind of built around him, and he did a lot of stuff that didn't carry over to the kind of style of route running and things that we've done. He picked things up beautifully. So he's worked really hard since the end of his season to be trained by some of the professional guys. He had no problem at all with the concepts. He's a really interesting athlete because he's built differently than a lot of guys. He's very strong, and he plays very strong, and he just. So the transition looked like this is not going to take a long time like we maybe had thought going in. So really good first impression there, too.
After 3 days at tackle for Ethan Posick. After 3 days at tackle for Ethan Posick.
Ethan Posick?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any ideas about where he might fit in for you guys?
Yeah, he can fit in all 3 spots. Well, one of the things, he's played a lot of center. He's played the next most at guard, and then at tackle. So we wanted to make sure we could see him as a tackle. He had no problem. And all of the film we watched, it was always impressive how easily from game to game, or even from in the game, he could demonstrate that he was comfortable at other spots. So he's got a really good background. He's been raised great by their program. He's technique sound. He's very bright. He can make a new concept in the way we might talk about a scheme or a technique just come to life for you. So we'll see how this goes. But I know we have flexibility. That's why he was our favorite guy in the draft, because we thought he could play anywhere. He looked very comfortable at right tackle. So we'll see how this goes. We would most likely keep him on the right side for right now, but he has played on both, so that's not an issue either. He'll continue to work at center, thinking that he could be a backup there for us. We would like to see how he does at guard and tackle, starting with the tackle spot. So we'll see what happens.
With so many new guys being thrown together this weekend, is it kind of a fun challenge for coaches it's different, obviously?
It very much is, yeah. We like we go out here today and we move the ball up and down the field, kind of like it's, simulate like you're playing to see how they respond in more situational ball, but that's after 3 days of work, and so it is a bit of a kind of it's a weekend with the fellas, working it out and all that, and then coming together at the end of it. They did very well. It is really fun for the coaches. These guys are so eager, and they're just so ready. I can't tell you how early they're at the meetings, and they're all waiting here for the time we come out on the practice field. They're just ready and raring to go. So it's very refreshing and really fun for all of us.
Shaquille Griffin was saying the scheme and technique is different than what he did at college. After 3 days, do you have a sense of what his learning curve is going to be? How much?
I don't think he's going to have any problem. I really don't think he'll have any problem. The guys did a really nice job starting him off and working at our stuff. He seemed very comfortable. It looked really good for the first weekend. He got some good shots on some balls down the field, and got to see him run a little bit and all. has a really good spirit about him that he brings, really anxious to learn and all that, which is all you could hope for at this time.
What is different?
Yeah, I really liked Jordan Roos. I thought he looked really good, and that was a really important signing for us. We had targeted him through the draft, and we weren't able to get him, but he looks like he fits right in. I was really happy about that because we're trying to keep that whole position as competitive as possible. He looks like he'll be able to battle. I'm talking with the guys that are going to do the plan. So I think he made a great first impression. We got to get the pads on and all that for those guys, which is a long ways away, but his first impressions were excellent in this thing.
What is it that you guys do that Shaquille Griffin wouldn't have been used to? Like, what is it in your guys' technique?
Our technique stuff is really strict, and there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of principle to it. It just takes a while for the guys to get comfortable with what we expect out of them. You've watched us take guys on for years. It takes a little bit. Some guys are faster than others. I think the question came up the other day. He's not going to have any problem at all. But there's just a real discipline to it that we really feel is crucial to their evolution of acquiring the technique and the principles that we can count on. So like I said, some guys go faster than others. He is such a natural athlete. I don't think it's going to take him any time.
Kenny Lawler had a couple nice plays up there.
Kenny had a really good camp. Kenny came back maybe, 15 or 17 pounds heavier than he was when he came here last time around. He just has worked out really hard. He's more powerful, just coming off the football and running. He's always had great catching range and skill catching the football. This camp was really good for Kenny because he really shined throughout the whole thing. And so, and we can see him differently than we saw him last year at the same time. So that's really good for him.
Whether it's him or Heaps or Will Precheck, how much does it help having some of those guys who know the system?
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Yeah, those guys are really, and they just quickly assume the leadership. Marcus Lucas did the same in their positions. They just are so much more familiar. You can see them helping the younger guys. It's really a great opportunity for those guys to express themselves, and they did a really good job. And it really gives us a continuity. Jake always is just so on his stuff that he really elevates the play of people around him. That's what those guys basically do.
Your thoughts on the 3 QBs that you brought in? Your impressions of them?
Yeah, well, Jake has always been a guy that we really like, and he's been really good for us, and we can really count on him. Skyler did a nice job, worked at it. These guys coming under center a lot more makes a difference to them. I thought Birdsong did very well, probably graded out the best of these guys in terms of completion percentage and things like that. He competed well to show there. He threw some really good footballs, and so they did good stuff. We got decisions to make.
Any surprises or moments that really stood out to you over the last 3 days?
I think probably the final kick right there. I thought Tyler Harris came through and made a great connection with that ball to come out of nowhere to win it.
None of those guys push up for the job?
Not yet, no. But they had their footwork and their steps down. Where did that come from as well?
The other day said Mike Tyson reminded you a little bit of Byron Maxwell. Can you explain what you meant there?
Yeah, well, I think they're similar in their stature. They just kind of carry themselves the same. They have just very similar characteristics of size, weight, speed, and all that. And both guys come in with a real serious, tough attitude. I thought Mike was real impressive in the camp, and he has not been a featured outside guy. He played a lot of man coverage and played coverage on slots and stuff. So this was the first time that we've seen a lot of that. So it's just the start, but we know that he's such a good football player and a good competitive kid. I think he's going to be right in there. So off to a good start.
What is it about the combo of Malik and Nazaire that you really like up front?
But they're really different. They're totally different guys. Nas is really a guy that we picture to play 3 technique and back up at nose and be a big, heavy dude on first and second down. That's what we're looking for. We think we can teach him pass rush stuff and advance his game there, but really we want to see if we can make him a first and second down guy. He's really long. He's 300-something, and he's got good quickness to him as well, and he's a nice athlete. So we see a really good package there. I really see that he could fit into the rotation, is adding that big element that we like. He'll also play 5 technique at times against teams that are really hammering football and want to run it a lot. So that'll all come out. It'll be a while before that occurs. But they're real different in that regard. They're different in what they bring us.
Christian French was out here again.
Did a good job. He looked good. Yeah, it's good to see him back. He had a kind of a long haul getting healthy, and he had a good showing.
How is Malik? It looked like he had something.
He got stepped on. He's fine. Yeah.
Anything else? Thanks.
See you. Happy Mother's Day.